Thank you for having me. So today we are going to talk about something really exciting. You have probably noticed that AI is no longer a buzzword. It's becoming a core part of user experience. And AI is reshaping how we build app and how users interact with them. And now with Gemini, it is easier than ever to bring that intelligence directly in your Android app. So both on device and in the cloud. So today we are going to see how we can bring the Gemini AI into your Android application. So for my presentation, I am Yves Kalume. I'm from Congo DR, so I am your neighbor. And actually, I live in a city really near to Zambia. I am also part of the Google Developer Expert Program. So I am a GD in Android, and I'm also an Android engineer working at a company called Monaco. We are a fintech that is making finance and banking easier for Africans. So, first, I will guide you through intelligent experience on Android OS powered by Gemini, and then we'll review how you can leverage Gemini models to implement a smart and excellent experience in your apps. So let's get started. Android is becoming even more intelligent, helping users to be more productive and unlock creativity. So with Gemini, the Google's AI assistant, actually it is even built in the core of Android. It brings the context, across applications to help with task automation and save users time. So actually Gemini can complete actions across connected apps like calendar, maps, and many others. For example, you can ask Gemini to add a reminder or look information from an email, and Gemini will complete this task for you directly on your device. So this agentic experience is available on Android phones, foldables, and tablets. So actually including the latest Pixel 9 series, the Samsung Galaxy S25, and the Xiaomi 15 series. And actually it will be coming to even more device really soon. So now we have talked about how Android OS is more intelligent. So let's talk about how we can build a smart and personalized experience with the right Gemini models in Google's AI. So and the Google's AI in your app. So actually Google provides a full tech stack unlocking you to build AI with an end-to-end experience. So this includes advanced AI models running in the cloud and local model optimized for the mobile devices. So along with a suite of tools and runtime and infrastructure for AI development. So to navigate this different option and find the right solution, so let's consider some key questions for your use case. So first, think about the modality. So you need to ask yourself, what am I feeding to the model? Is it text? Is it image? Maybe an audio or a file? And an equally important question is, what do I need to generate? So are you looking to get a text output, an audio stream, or perhaps you want to generate some images? Second, you need to consider the complexity of the task. So does your project require deep specialized knowledge like in a particular field? So let's say you are about to build a medical analysis application or one for legal reviews or complex financial modeling. So this kind of domain require a kind of expert knowledge when you want to build this application. You can't just take Gemini and put it inside your application. Third, we need to talk about the context window. So that is the amount of information you need to process at once. So will you be working with a really large amount of data, or like analyzing extensive documents or processing hours of audio or video files? So and how much information does it need to remember or consider simultaneously? So let's look at a real world example. Let's say I receive a message today and I need a summary to stay up to date. So here is how I will do this with AI. Let's say I receive a lot of chat messages, and chat messages generally contain text, images, audio, and videos file. But let's start with a simple text message. So what we want right now to do is really straightforward. So we want to summarize text, and text messages are relatively short. So a model that support a moderate context window would be sufficient. At this point, what we'll use is the on-device Gen AI solution provided by Gemini Nano. So processing locally right on the user's phone has several benefits. So it increases the user data privacy and the safety because the data doesn't have to leave the device. You have much greater control on the security with a huge benefit for the user. And it provides also offline capabilities. So the future can work even when the user does not have internet connection, and there is not additional cost for inference every time it runs. So you will never need to pay to use a LLM. And Gemini Nano is an efficient and compact model designed to and optimized for running directly on the mobile device. So last year, Google launched an experimental access to Gemini Nano, so allowing you to explore its capabilities. So they also launched the Gen AI APIs powered by Nano, allowing you to integrate these common intelligent experience in your apps with just few lines of code. And the Gen AI APIs are part of the ML kit, the mobile SDK that brings Google Gen AI and machine learning on device. So there are 4 new generative APIs that are already available so that you can play with them around and to see what they are capable of. So first, you can summarize text such as chat conversations, notes, and short articles, or even documents. You can also use to rewrite some words in a different style. You can add a description to an image. You can provide image description, and beside this API, they also provide a set of tools and libraries that can help you to bring your own custom model to Android. So you can use MediaPipe, you can use also Light RT, which was TensorFlow Lite before. And the Google AI Edge platform allows you to build and deploy a wide range of custom models on edge devices. So it supports various frameworks like TensorFlow, PyTorch, Keras, and JAX. And it enables you to integrate with AI with more customization in your application. And the Google AI Edge also supports other Gen AI models. So if you need to customize or fine-tune an LLM, or you want to reach a device where the Gemini Nano is not available, you can use other open models via the MediaPipe LLM Inference API. Okay. And one thing to keep in mind is the challenge of handling a large model download and update it inside your application. So since if you want to run a non-device machine learning model, you can ship it with your app because it's really big. So if you put it inside your code source, your app will be really, really big. User won't even download it. So but Google launched the Play delivery for on-device AI, so it make actually easy to manage custom model download efficiently. So you can find that more on the Android developers website. So now we have explored what available on device. For more complex use case like audio and video processing, like image generation, or if you want to to touch a wide device reach, it's recommended to use a large Gemini models running in the cloud. So this also includes situations requiring additional domain knowledge. As I said, if you want to build a medical analysis AI app, or if you want to process a even large input. So this set of models include the Gemini Flash and the Gemini Pro. So it offers a balance of latency and its power for a large range of tasks. We can also use the image gen model for generating high quality images. So these models excel in general, like creating realistic images, generating long-term text with deeper understanding, also in processing large amounts of text, images, or video to extract structured information, and even more. And Firebase provides a simplified and secure way to access Gemini Flash, Gemini Pro, and even Imagen models without the need to manage your own backend services. And it supports popular Android development language like Kotlin, Java, and even cross-platform frameworks like Flutter. So to test these models' capabilities, you can use the Google AI Studio or Vertex AI Studio, which provide direct access to the model. So okay, now let's bring it all together. When deciding which Gemini model best fits your use case, it really comes down to understanding the specific of your requirement and the model capabilities. If your priority is offline functionality coupled with budget and targeting flagship devices, then on-device Gen AI is the solution for you. But for common text-based tasks where on-device processing and offline capabilities are beneficial, so I will encourage you, to use the Gemini Nano via the Gen AI app. On the other hand, if you need to perform more complex tasks like requiring significant processing power, and you want to target a wider device reach, or sometimes you need a multimodal input or output not yet supported on device, I would recommend you building with more capable and larger models like Gemini Pro and Flash series, or the Imagen via the Firebase AI SDK. So now you know where to start. Keep in mind that when releasing into production, you can use the combination of both on-device and cloud-based solutions. So now let's see how to enhance your Android app using the Google's generative models. So first, we'll start by talking about how to use Gemini Pro and Flash models in your Android applications and the steps to follow to use them in production. Then we'll talk about the Live API. This is a new Gen AI capabilities for bidirectional streaming. And finally, we will talk about Imagen 3, the Google latest image generation model. So first, let's talk about the Gemini Flash and the Pro models that run in the cloud and how you can use them in your Android app. So the Gemini models can process and analyze many types of informations like text, images, audio, and video. So the specific capabilities depend on which model you use, like Flash Pro or a different version like the 2.0 or 2.5. A key feature is the large context window. So basically, how much a model can process at once. Like, for example, in Gemini 2.0 Flash, it can handle up to 1 million of token in a single request. So it allows you to send very large amount of information like 1 hour of video or about 750,000 words. So generally, when you give the model more context, it gives you more consistent answers. A large context window also makes it possible to create a much longer chat experience. And to access and use Gemini in your application, you will need to leverage the Gemini API. So currently Google offers two Gemini APIs with similar features. So one is the Google AI Studio, also known as the Gemini Developer API, and another in Vertex AI. And back in October of the last year, Firebase made a set of client SDK that give you access to Gemini API in Vertex AI directly from your client code. So you won't need to even care about the backend. And the Gemini Developer API offers a generous free tier and a flexible pay-as-you-go plan to help you scale. So actually, you don't have any more excuse to start adding Gemini AI to your apps with Firebase. Now let's see how easy it is to add Gemini to your Android app in Kotlin. So this is a real code. It only requires 3 lines. The first one here, we just instantiate the Gemini Developer API, and the second line we generate a content with a prompt, and the third one we just get the response. So the experience is pretty straightforward. Now let's talk about the good practice to follow. First, you need to implement app check. So app check is just a tool. Think of it like a security guard for your backend. So it helps you prevent abuse by identifying and blocking suspicious traffic. So it uses what we call play integrity to guarantee that all requests come from your authentic application and from a real device, so that you won't be hacked. So think of it like that. And you can easily monitor your app's requests in the Firebase console and keep close eyes on the traffic it generates. And the Firebase app check isn't just for Android, it also supports iOS and web apps. You can even add it to your backend. And you can use the Firebase remote config, which allow you to dynamically manage server control variables such as the name of the model your app use. So you can adapt and change the AI landscape without even requiring an app update. And third, you can use the cloud storage for large multimodal files. So let's say you want to process a big video or a big image. So instead of just sending it to your backend or to the model, you can just store it in the Firebase storage and then use the link and provide the link to your LLM. And this is very reliable even when the network is really bad. And now let's talk about cost estimation. So the input and the output size of generative AI model is measured in tokens. So a lot of words are represented by a single token, but for some more complicated or less frequent words, they are split into 2, 3, or even more tokens. So in our example, the word generative is split into 2 tokens, for instance. And a good rule of thumb is that 70 English words translate to about 100 tokens. But precisely evaluating the number of tokens in your request is more important, because the model has a limit of the number of input token it can handle, and we call it the context window. And the cost of the query is directly based on the number of the token processed by the model. And to easily compute the number of token, you can use the function count token inside your Kotlin code, and you can read more about it in the Firebase documentation. So it's time now to dive into the exciting world of Gemini Live capabilities. The Live API allows you to build real-time experiences using what we call a bidirectional streaming capabilities. You can continuously send a string of text, a nodule, or even a video to Gemini model and receive a real-time experience or text responses. So now imagine the possibility for creating truly interactive and natural AI experience in your apps. I don't know if some of you have used this feature in the ChatGPT mobile app, so you can keep talking with an AI in real time. So you can also build it with Gemini, the Gemini Live API. And it's really easy to create this kind of experience in just 4 code instructions. So here, like the first one, initialize the service and create the live model instance with your configurations. So here we are using the Gemini Flash Live, requesting the audio as the model, and it is setting some instruction from the model and defining the function scaling tool. And the second, we open a persistent connection to the Gemini API. So third, we start the audio conversation when the user press the start button, and fourth, we stop it when the user press the stop button. And that's it. Now let's switch gears and talk about the image generation. Last year, Google launched Imagen 3, so the text-to-image model capable of generating image even with better detail. And in February of this year, they made Imagen accessible through Firebase, simplifying the process to integrate its capabilities inside your Android application. And actually, it unlocks new possibilities for Android applications. You can generate visual tailored to the content of your application and can even create richer user experience. For example, user can generate a custom artwork in their app profiles, or if, for example, your app is using stickers, you can let the users create personal and custom virtual stickers that only them will be able to use. And the integration of Imagen 3 to your Android app is very similar to adding Gemini access via the Firebase SDK. So start by adding the Gradle dependency to your Android project, and in your Kotlin code, you can create an image model instance by passing the model name. And as an option, you can also add some model configuration for safety. And finally, you can generate the image by simply calling the generate image function here. And you can then retrieve the image generated as a bitmap from the image response and can display it in your app. So the two available models are the 3.0, which produce realistic and high quality images from natural language text prompt, and the Imagen 3.0 fast, which generates images for prototyping and low latency use cases. And you can experiment with image prompt in the Vectors AI Studio directly, and can find a way to refine your prompt by consulting the documentation. So Imagen 3 and Firebase is currently, I think, in public preview, so you can test it today, and it's expected to be generally available to later this year. I know that we have covered a lot of ground today, so let's take a minute to recap. You can use Firebase AI SDK to add generative AI capabilities to your application quickly and seamlessly. And you can use the Gemini Live API to create conversational AI experience. And finally, Imagen 3 to Firebase is in public preview, so it enables you to add custom contextual visual assets to increase your app engagement. And if you want to learn more about this generative AI SDK, you will find all the details in the Firebase documentation. And also, to learn more about AI and Android in general, go to the AI Hub in the Android public documentation. And finally, there is a new Android sample app which gather a list of use cases, and it lets you to interact with the AI powered feature that you can easily integrate inside your applications. And to help you to take the next step, I would encourage you to explore these resources linked here. So you'll find comprehensive developer guides and code labs, especially covering Gemini integrations. And in this session, I have tried to provide a fundamental overview of exciting possibilities that Gemini models bring to Android development. So I hope it sparked your imagination and gave you a clear understanding of how to integrate AI into your applications. Ultimately, the key for building, truly impactful Android application with AI lies in, finding the appropriate model and using the right tool for your specific needs. And by carefully considering how your use case and leveraging capabilities of the Gemini models, you can build creative and intelligent and helpful experience for your users. And I think that all I had to share with you today. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Yves. Think, think if there are any questions, please keep them coming or in the chat bot, or we'll have a Q&A towards the end. Thank you so much.
Okay.